I tend to get afraid with confrontation, and knowing that if I couldn't handle something, she was there um, as my support and my backbone when I needed it. So without my career coach, I honestly, I don't think I'd be where I'm at now. So I owe her so much, and she's fantastic. I'm Devin Righthouse. I am a mom to two beautiful children and a lovely husband. And I do work full time currently as a payroll administrator for a large corporation. Um, and I am uh, pursuing this exciting adventure of mine. What made me decide that this was the right time to make this large a leap in this change in mine and my family's life is 2020 really opened up everyone's eyes of how much you can do at home, the same type of work, but still have your life. At my current employer, they recently got rid of any type of remote work. And me personally, I drive an hour and a half one way, which in the grand scheme of things, it's a long drive. And it hit me one day that that's a lot of time away from my family. And family has always been the number one thing for me. My world revolves around them. Yes, I know I should have some things around myself, but me personally, my family is my life. And the fact that I was losing time with them, seeing my children grow up and having that connection with my husband really hit me hard and made me start to explore my options. I did originally start to look around and try to start my own business. But if anyone's looked into that before, it takes a lot of steps. And it's very daunting to, to, to do all that on your own. And yes, I have the support of my husband, of course, but it still is a lot. So I decided to pursue and look into the option of franchising. And that's how I got into connection with my wonderful rep. She is fantastic, Entrepreneur Source rep, and she introduced me to a few different companies. And it starts off, with three. You meet them, and it was nice at the beginning. It was still a little nerve-wracking because another personal thing about me is I have high anxiety and depression. So for me to take a large leap outside of my comfort zone was it was an experience. And for someone who has social anxiety and everything, taking that leap, it's worth it. I was able to meet some wonderful people and find a company out of the three, a specific one that really met the needs of my family, the scheduling, and it's something that my husband has always brought up because he used to do this work with the company that we went with. And he mentioned before how he misses doing the work back in Arizona where I used to live. And so the fact that this company just happened to be part of my list, I felt like it was a sign. And so we left at the chance and have been, going at it ever since, and with excitement and just eagerness to get things going. So in short, 2020 with the company removing remote work, it really, put my butt in gear, making sure I have my family as my number one. So the way we evaluated between each of the companies that we were introduced to, as well as looking at the main scope of the risk that we're going to be taking, because franchising with a company is a risk, emotionally, physically, financially. There's a lot more to it than I expected, but I don't regret it. So when it comes to pinpointing which one we wanted, we first looked at the the lifespan of the industry. So if it's something that we see constantly being around, that was a main factor for us, as well as how much it costs to get the franchise going. Because we're starting out with, low middle class. We don't have a whole lot of finances, which most people nowadays don't. So that was a huge, thing that we had to look into, as well as just it might sound corny, but the feeling we got from it. Speaking to each individual, it it gave us butterflies. And as an adult, you don't get butterflies that much anymore. And when you get those butterflies, you're like, this is the one. And when you find your free time going towards talking about, oh, we can do this with the company and do that with the company, we found ourselves always talking about this one in specific. And so that was the big sign that this is the one we want to go with. And then the risk factors, in regards to that, would be, for us, it was mainly financial, because we want to make sure we, cross our T's, dot our I's, we could still put a roof over our children's heads, not go into debt. And so we spoke to a few different brokers, and I work with numbers and money, doing payroll, being close to accounting and everything. And a passion of personal budgeting helped too. So having those aspects and some contacts with other actual business owners was helpful in getting their stories. So when you're starting a franchise, you can ask, and you're encouraged to ask for, and my career coach had a better way of putting it, but pretty much asking for numbers and contacts for other franchisees from that company. And you can get there, because they won't lie to you. They'll tell you the goods, the bads, and started off with that. That's how I did it. I asked them, tell me your worst day and your best day, and everything in between. I want to hear your story. And so they did. And everything I heard was good. And the fact that my hardships that I was predicting and worried about, they had it too. And I was able to hear their stories and how they worked with those hardships as well. So it was a big eye opener with all of that. The reason that I decided now, at my age, was a good time to pursue it and everything is, and I do have, job security. So it's not like I'm going, I'm not going to be in retiring. So that's far in the future. I'm not going to be losing my job and everything. It's just, and this sort of goes in hand with a couple things for me personally. As I mentioned before, my family is number one. With me seeing that I was missing out on time with my children, and my husband was a big driving factor for me. And as well as having the anxiety and everything that I'm dealing with, I wanted to show myself, and mainly my children, that even though you're dealing with anxiety, depression, or any other type of disorder, you still have the ability to do what you want. And there's nothing stopping you except for yourself. Yes, finances, everyone can preach that, without money, you can't do this and you can't do that. And it is true for the most part, but if you put the work into it and you build your circle and, find ways to make it your own, you can find a way to get where you want to be. I'm not saying that I'm right where I want to be because I'm still in the process of doing it, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's where I want to go. So, I do. So um, one moment is really what it was already into my mind to get this going, but there was one moment that really set my path in stone of what I was wanting to do. And I don't mind sharing this. So one day I was sitting down and just looking at pictures and everything, and I realized that, you know, back when I was younger, I used to, because I've had anxiety for a long time, I used to, have bad thoughts and everything back then. And then next thing I know, I'm where I'm at now, looking at those pictures, and I told myself, I'm like, what was I doing back then? I wasted all this time that I could have been doing something, and those things I was telling myself aren't true. Um, and then I started thinking about, well, next time I look at these pictures, I might be 60 or something, realizing all that time frame of me telling myself I can't, I can't, I can't, I've lost all of it. And I didn't want to be doing that at that age. So that was a huge factor of it as well. But, you know, just because you don't have a whole lot of money, it will be very stressful. Um, but you want to make sure you have your goals set forward. And when you have those goals, it's easier to work towards when you know that if I work hard enough, I can be where I want to be. So, going from just doing payroll to moving into something of doing every, aspects, all the nooks and crannies of a business, um, I I am overcoming it with passion and determination. So yeah, I'm pulling in a lot more work than I'm doing now, and I'm still going to be doing my job on the other hand too. But knowing that if I work hard enough in 6 months and set small goals, medium goals, and big goals, in a month, I could have this done. In 6 months, I can, hopefully have my debt that I've accumulated, because you will, paid off. And then in a year, I can hire people. And having those different goal ranges is really what is driving me to be like, hey, I am taking on a lot, but it's not going to be forever. And honestly, I'm having fun with it because even though it's a franchise, it's still my own. It's my other electronical child. So business child that I can raise and be what I want it to be. So it's a lot, it's daunting, but just because it's a business doesn't mean you can't have fun with it. When it comes to support from my franchisor, they're fantastic. They are, they're flexible. They are always there when you need something or have a question on how to do something. So you're never alone, which is another huge thing with becoming a franchise rather than creating your own business. Eventually, I still want to sort of pursue creating my own business. But starting off as a franchise, you aren't alone. You have multiple contacts. My situation, for example, I have a contact for marketing, a call center. We even have contacts with other franchisees. As I mentioned, you would call them and ask their stories, but you can also ask them, hey, I had this happen at a job. What did you do? And you continue to build your circle of contacts and support for you to be able to know that you're not alone. You're not going to be going into jobs not knowing what you're doing. You can call the head office of the corporate to ask them, hey, what did you guys do? What do you recommend? As well as other franchisees saying, how did you handle this type of client? and on top of that, they also, take care of, when it comes to the marketing, they have the brochures, the cards, the clothing. It's fantastic. And I don't think every franchisee might have it that aspect. I was lucky enough to have a grouping that was amazing individuals. And I, I don't, how do I word this? I can pretty much guarantee that when you're working with me personally, with your career coach, they have you um, as the number one. It is all they're there for you to be able to make those contacts. They'll help you build your circle. And that's what really helped me, because I, without those introductions, I wouldn't know where to start. And then once you have those introductions, I was able to fly out, meet everyone in person, get their numbers, and build my support circle with the actual company itself. On top of my personal support circle of everyone that was my cheerleaders behind me. Even with everything that's going on, creating and building the franchise on my end, I still feel like I have more work-life balance now than before I started building it. And I can already see that my work-life balance is going to be improved once everything is set in stone, schedules are being made, and whenever I do get the opportunity to leave my current employer and do my franchise full time, I can guarantee, without a doubt in my heart and soul, that my work-life balance will be worse. In fact, it will be improved, because you create your own schedule. So starting out, it's just my husband and I that are going to be doing the business. So he'll be doing the jobs. I'll be doing everything else on the back end. So having that support from, your business partner, or even if you're doing it on your own, it's still your schedule. You can put in when you want to do jobs, for how late. If you want to do it from 6 in the morning until 3 to go pick up your children at school, you have that option. Rather than what I'm doing right now is you have to work a 9 to 5, because someone else is telling you that's when you have to work. And touching on my last comment of how I feel like I have more work-life balance now is because during my 9 to 5, I'm finding myself taking more breaks to work on the business. And I don't personally feel like it's working, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm having fun problem solving, getting forms in, setting up calls, because like I said earlier, this is my baby. It's mine to grow, and have it become what I want it to become. And that's what's making it feel, and I don't know if everyone's ever heard it, but if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And me personally, I love back-end systems, which is why I've stuck with payroll, because numbers, they don't talk back to you. So I'm enjoying it. And these breaks that I'm taking from my 9 to 5 is to do something that I want to do, not something that someone is telling me to do. And then when I'm home, I can still talk about the franchise, but not feel like I'm working, because it's, again, what I want to do. And what's fun is, recently I brought up setting up vendors and stuff for, at home shows and everything, so we can introduce ourselves. And my children have always been huge supporters too. And when they heard that, I wanted to set up a vendor at home shows and sell our business to people, they got just as excited for me. In fact, they started bringing me their stickers and everything, because they wanted to try to sell their stickers or give things out to people. And it was adorable. And seeing that was like, hey, I can still be working, but including my kids and having my husband there is we're still spending family time and we're having fun with it. So that is, it's a work-life balance because, you can work hard and, just focus on the company. You'll have your time with just your family. But nothing is telling you that you can't have fun together. And it's nice to be able to see of, hey, I can finally have the option and opportunity to balance things out how I want it to go. Definitely. So working with a career ownership coach had a ginormous impact on what where I am now, because without my coach being there for me for any questions I had, any issues, or even any stress that I was running into, she was always there in my corner, cheering me on, pointing me in the right directions, introducing me to people that I would not know where to start to even get into contact with them, and showing me companies that honestly I've never heard of. All three of them. I've seen one drive around, but I never heard of one of them and didn't even think about the one I'm with right now. We were, without that introduction, we may have gone with a more expensive one that I was okay with rather than the one I'm absolutely loving, or nowhere at all, because doing it on your own by yourself, again, is daunting. Even if it's just with a franchise, you still have to find time to set up calls, do introductions, hope that, I hope I'm approaching this okay. But the career coach is there making those connections, looking at your, I want to say profile, but it's more of like a test to see your interests, your strong suits, weak points and everything, and finding something that's best suited for you. Um, and if you get the first three and you don't like it, she, for me is a she, he, if you have someone else, but they're there with another three ready to go. And they, you know, at the beginning, middle, throughout the entire, and at every call, they make sure that they're in this for you. Have fun with it. Ask all the questions. Don't be stressed. Um, they're not in it to make a sell. This isn't like a car salesman trying to get a quick buck off of you. They're in it for you and you alone. And if there's any concerns that you may have financially, schedule, anything like that, they take those into account. And they don't try to push something on you that you're uncomfortable with. And what's nice too is when I was introduced to a broker and everything, she made that connection, and she, after a couple of calls, she's like, hey, if anyone is ever too pushy with you, let me know. And that made me even more comfortable because, being not the best social person, I tend to get afraid with confrontation, and knowing that if I couldn't handle something, she was there, as my support and my backbone when I needed it. So without my career coach, I don't think I'd be where I'm at now. So I owe her so much, and she's fantastic. The one thing that I just want to, I guess, personally drive home is, and I've always grown up wanting to help people. Seeing some of the corruption in corporate business really, it it kills you a little bit inside. I'm not gonna lie. If you ever feel like, hey, I this isn't where I want to be, this isn't what I want to do, don't stay there, because you only have this life once. Don't get to the point of when you're close to retirement and realize, what did I do? I could have been spending all this time with my kids, or even if you don't have kids, I could have been pursuing all these different opportunities. But I was too afraid, because we're all afraid. I'm not gonna lie, I was, as you've been hearing, is I was extremely afraid, but I was eager, and I was blessed with the opportunity to be able to be shown that, you know, this is the right thing to do, and not the right thing, so the right path that I want to be on. Having the realization that I don't want to be stuck in a 9 to 5. Um, and for everyone that do have a 9 to 5, a lot of companies won't be here without them. So they are still the turning gears, but I wanted to be able to be the umbrella that shielded those gears, rather than being a gear, because I don't want to work for a corrupt corporation when I can lead my own business and be the boss that I wish I had. Um, so when it comes to starting a franchise, do it for yourself, do it for your family. If you're dealing with a disorder of any sort, it doesn't mean that's your dead end. You can still do it. Um, and there's support out there, even if you don't see them right now. With all that extra time, I want to get back in the community and try to build a circle. And I want to show my kids that, you can be a part of the community, and let's do better, instead of, oh, I wish this would happen, I wish that would happen, and show them that, hey, instead of talking about it, let's do something about it. And we have the time to do it, and showing them that, it's be yourself, and, you there's nothing stopping you. And I want to show them that they can be part of bigger things.